Hello my friends. Welcome to Reddit Rabbit. Before we start, catch the rabbit at the bottom right corner, smash that subscribe button and leave a comment. r/Showerthoughts. The Viagra commercial always says make sure your heart is healthy enough for X. That's a really deep question if you think about it in more of a metaphorical way. Viagra Light. For those who just want to be held. Spoiler alert. It's MDMA. What happens if you take MDMA, but you're still alone? Do you cry just as much? The people in your contacts list get blown the frick up. Can confirm. Next morning you just wanna crawl into a corner and die, but no gotta live with that frickin' text to Alana, Molly, Court, and did you even told Sean and Joey that you love them? Just bury me. My heart is barely healthy enough to fap without feeling lightheaded and crying. My heart is shaped like a bow and arrow. I used to be a sexual adventurer like. Then I took an arrow to the heart. You use two hands for your weapon. I like that. You favor the bow, eh? I'm more of a sword man myself. They have curved swords. Curved swords. Also Viagra was first developed to be a heart medication. A normal day in the office turned out to be quite the surprise for some random pharmacist. The actual story is pretty funny. They were conducting clinical trials on the drug with a sample of old people. They determined that it wasn't an effective drug at treating what they wanted it to, but at the end of the trial they interviewed the participants and asked them to return the remaining doses, and a bunch of the men didn't want to give their doses back without saying why they were so keen to keep taking the drug. When the researchers dug into that deeper, they figured out it was because it had a particular side effect that old men really enjoyed. Actually, if I remember correctly, it was a fairly effective drug and can still be used at times for heart conditions, but the side effect was a much more profitable and exploitable market. Indeed, it can be used under another name for heart failure. I came here to laugh, not to feel. My husband actually asked our female doctor if his heart was healthy enough for X. She said it was. Now he tells me all the time, especially when the Viagra commercial comes on. Viagra is also good for most houseplants. Get out of here. For real skis? Yeah, if your flowers are dropping, then it helps them stand up straight. And ironic, considering they say that erectile dysfunction is the canary in the coal mine for heart disease. Viagra. For when your canary can't make it into the coal mine. If you think about it in more of a grammatical way, it's not a question at all. Not a threat, it's a promise. I mean, it's not even a question at all in either sense. I'm surprised I had to scroll down this far to see someone to mention it. When I broke up with my girlfriend, I felt like an arrow had pierced my soul. I felt like I'd never be happy again. A month later I met a very pretty girl and we eventually had sex a bunch of times. But each time it ended miserably, because I could never stay erect for her, because my heart was in such pain. She eventually stopped seeing me, because she figured I didn't find her attractive. So, can confirm. Heart must be healthy for X. How high are you? You fear him, because he speaks the truth. We fear him, because he has a raging boner. But has it been for longer than 4 hours? Longer than 4 hours? You mean lifers? That's 169,961,078,551,181.1 inches. How high are you? About a month ago, my Mill was with her boyfriend, both in their early 70s, who had a serious heart surgery a couple years ago. He had a heart attack, right there in front of her. When the ambulance arrived, they needed to know why his heart rate was so high, and well, poor Mill had to admit it was because of hanky-panky. I feel so bad for her, but I'm glad he wasn't alone. He was on the ventilator for about a week, and his daughter couldn't bear to let him go, but finally, his kids made the decision. Very sad. I'm glad your Mill admitted it, because that's a huge problem with older people. It's phasing out a little bit. But there's a big issue with older people not admitting their issues, waiting too long to call medical help because they're embarrassed of their situation. According to 21st century philosopher Curtis Jackson, Who once said I'm into having sex? I ain't into making love. There's a spectrum of emotional investment when it comes to sexual relationships. If you have a decent cardiovascular system, then you got a green light for ramming somebody with no strings attached, regardless of how empty you feel on the inside. I read those lines repeatedly before remembering the lyrics to 50 Cents in the Club. I personally think most people's hearts are too sinister for sex. For lack of a better word, people have unrealistic expectations and transfer them onto their pool partners, damaging everyone they come into contact with. Most people have no idea how to treat someone they are intimate with. You sound experienced, winking face. I am currently feeling a great deal of heartache. You seem very wise in this area. There are way too many damaged people that seem to be having the most sex. Metaphorically speaking, my heart is never ready for sex, but here I am. That's assuming your heart is a part of the X. Viagra is an excellent form of girth control. It's a statement. Weird, I remember the same, albeit slightly reworded, Showerthought from about a year ago. Whoever came up with go to the emergency room if your erection lasts 4 hours is part as a marketing genius. It's kind of fricked up that there are drug commercials on TV in the US. There's like 3 countries in the world that have those. If you experience an erection lasting more than 4 hours, she's not going to be able to walk the next day. There are some pretty unhealthy hearts that have some damn good sex. Just saying. That line gets me tearing up every time. My heart's like an open book for the whole world to read. Sometimes nothing keeps me together at the seams. I have sex in order not to think about my heart. I learned last semester in my nursing classes that your heart is healthy enough for sex if you can walk up 2 flights of stairs. It's like a shampoo that promises no more tears. Oh, if it was so. Balls deep, in fact. That would be the day that I would die. I've been there. She was a woman I had feelings for in the past and there had been drama and heartache. She was in my bed gesturing me for to join her and I told her I would soon as I smoked this joint. I waited outside long enough to be sure she had fallen asleep. Exactly how high are you? I had surgery to fix my peanuts after I fractured it. They used heart tissue from a cadaver to repair it. I always make sure my actual heart and my dong heart are healthy before popping Viagra now. That's not even a question at all if you think about it in more of a grammatical way. Cultures with huge power distance disparity tend to have a lot of people low in social ranking who are essentially branded unfit for reproduction. That's some dark shit when you really think about it. Particularly because social ranking is highly heritable, based on things like beauty, height, IQ, money, etc. Anybody upset yet? If you think about it in a literal way, it's not a question at all. Now this is a freaking shower thought. Thank you, sir or madam. Even more of a profound question if taken too literally. Viagra is good if you're trying to sleep and you have sunburns. A part of this is if you have taken Viagra or any other ED medication you cannot take nitroglycerine in the case of a heart attack. The combination can cause your blood pressure to drop dangerously. Viagra, always helping out with the deep stuff. That's not a question. It's a statement. There isn't a question mark. Literal too. Because if you have a heart attack we can't give you nitro if you've taken Viagra. Anyone else ever noticed how much they loved stating their call the doctor line? Definitely a real side effect, but I feel like that definitely convinced some people to buy it too. Maybe. If you're Puritan. I think one of the original purposes of Viagra was for coronary heart disease, so I guess it's a 2 birds 1 stone scenario. Go and have sex and do your heart shine good at the same time, smiley face. I don't get it. Anyone care to explain? The day I need Viagra is the day I stop having sex. Nature wouldn't want it any other way. This metaphorical right here just doing the post of the year. Holy it. If not, get a new heart, and frick the old one like it owes you money. It's not a question, it's a statement. To this day, I still find it shocking that the USA allows prescription drugs to be advertised. Me, is this the best thing for me? MD, it's got the biggest advertising budget. Me, but is this the best thing for me? MD, they paid me to prescribe their meds. Me, but is this the best thing for me? MD, yes. Me, it sounds like you're lying to me. MD, getting into Ferrari paid for by drug company while pocketing wads out cash. I promise you, this aspirin will totally cure your cancer and regrow your legs. A study they paid for said it will.